Hey, it's Jeff Green with Green Financial Group. Thanks for tuning to the video blog today. Today we start part one of our two-part series with our good friend Brian Wesbury, Chief Economist for First Trust Portfolios. Brian's a great friend of Green Financial Group. We interview him about once a year. He's great to listen to, so stick around and take a look at part one of our two-part series. So we're back with our old friend, Brian Wesbury, Chief Economist at First Trust Portfolios. We do this about once a year.
Right.
Yeah, thanks
it's
for
great
being
to
here.
be with you,
Well,
Jeff.
we love you coming to Texas.
Thank you.
You need to be in, I mean, you're kind of a Texan.
Right.
You know,
I think at heart.
Right, yeah.
Heart. Absolutely.
So let me get right into it. I know you're an economist, but you do have some market forecasts.
Right.
You have your capital profits model. Tell us what your outlook is for the rest of this year,
right.
And then more importantly, into 22. What do you see?
Yeah, so I know we're going to talk about some of this coming up, but there are a lot of people today who are really nervous about all the government spending, the money printing, high gas prices, supply chain issues, and let's leave those aside for right now. But I believe partly because we've done unprecedented things, shutting down the economy, printing all this money, that the future is a little cloudy. But the next 12 months, we have pumped the economy full of money. So my line, I don't know if it's funny or not, but it went in a flood, and I know that for some Houstonians that's not a good memory, but everything floats except your weight set. And that's what's going on with the stock market in these days. That yes, profits are up. Yes, the economy is expanding, but interest rates are still low, and that means the stock market, in my opinion, is still undervalued. So my forecast is that as we open up the economy, those profits will continue to grow. The Fed has no interest in raising interest rates right now, and as a result, I'm still bullish on the market.
So back to the Fed, they had come out and said that they weren't going to raise rates until 23.
Right.
Correct? Do you still see that? I don't see how they can wait that long. But
I don't either. And Jeff, that's a great point. I mean, the Fed has printed way too much money. We calculate 38% more money since February of 2020. By the way, that is one of the reasons that retail sales have grown so much faster than jobs. I mean, we have 4 million fewer people working today, but retail sales are 20% above normal. Right. And so that all of this Fed money printing has artificially boosted the economy. The analogy I like to use is that if you're in an accident, which kind of we were, we'll shut down the economy, pandemic, and then you get morphine, you don't realize how badly you're hurt. Right. And we're on the morphine right now. And it's hard to take people off morphine once they're on it. I'm not talking about getting hooked or anything, but it's sort of like that.
Right.
And so the Fed is going to have a really hard time letting all of this go, because if they were to for example, shrink the money supply, sell bonds instead of buy them, or raise interest rates dramatically, it could turn the market and turn the economy pretty significantly, and they're scared of that. So they're going to go really slow. What we say about the Fed is personnel is policy, and there are 3 members of the Fed that have left, resigned, or resigned. A couple of them got caught trading, if we know that story. Right. But the ones that have left are the ones that were willing to raise rates. And so those that are still there at the Fed are less willing to raise rates. They're what we call dovish. Mm-hmm. The hawks are leaving, the doves are growing in power, and that means if we have one rate hike next year in 2022, I think that's about it. Yeah.
So what would be your biggest fear in 22? What would stand in the way of the market continuing to go, right, profits, et cetera?
Yeah. The thing that keeps me awake at night is that we lock down again. Yeah. There's some gamma variant or something, or, they start telling everybody they've got to get a 4th shot, a 5th shot, a 6th right. shot, and people revolt and they lock down because people won't do it or something like that. That's the number one thing. And so far, I don't think that's going to happen because, if you look at New York City, you have to have a vaccine to go to a restaurant. In L.A. County, I don't know if it's still the rule, but there for a while, even if you were vaccinated, you had to wear a mask inside. And so these rules are pretty heavy duty, but they stop short of locking down. So I think we learned our lesson. And that's the one thing that would change my forecast in the short term.
Right.
Otherwise, the Fed's going to stay easy. I don't expect them to surprise us all of a sudden with a bunch of rate hikes or something in the dead of night that changes monetary policy. So that's it. Right now, that's the only thing.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I've heard our this current administration anyway talk about they were defining supply chain for us.
Right.
Talk to us about supply chain and where we are with that and what's causing these issues right now.
Yeah, Jeff, I love this issue because it is economics, and we were saying it from the very beginning. March and April, May of 2020. The way I put it is you cannot turn off the U.S. economy, any economy, like a light switch, and then expect when you come back a few hours later, a few days, a few months later, and then flip it back on, everything goes back to normal. If we kind of think about to get a tomato in a grocery store, there's billions of pieces of information, millions of people involved. You have to, obviously you have the farmer, the fertilizer, the seeds, the trucks, the tractors. You have to truck it to the store. There's truck drivers. There's people that built the trucks. Then it's in a store. You have to have somebody turn on the electricity, build the lights that go in the store, the aisles, millions of people. And when you shut that down, all of a sudden it's hard to get tomatoes. And you don't know why. And government can only handle about a dozen pieces of information. So this idea that they can fix the supply chain, it's crazy. It's insane. The market works because all of us, you love tomatoes. I like tomatoes. We haven't talked about that.
Well, they're doing salsa, so we want salsa.
There you go.
That's good.
Yeah, we like tomatoes.
Yeah.
But the people that are growing the tomato, they don't know you.
Right.
They're doing it for you.
Right.
And you don't know them. And in return, you have your services that you provide. We all do something different. And that dance of what we call the division of labor and really what Adam Smith called the invisible hand is how we end up with all this great stuff in grocery stores and how we get the ships unloaded in ports. And so then when the government comes and says, oh, we can unload ships in ports better than the private sector, I don't buy that. And then let me just quickly say one thing about this. If you were to lose your job today, you could technically spend a whole year's worth of income next month with a credit card or with a bunch of credit cards. And that's what we did. We shut down the economy. We took out our kids' credit cards in this case and spent today. So the number of ships coming into ports is the largest number of ships ever. Trucking regulations haven't changed much since 2019. So the problem at the ports can't be fixed with working 24 hours a day, letting 18-year-olds drive. I think all those things are important and good to talk about, regulation, but that's not the problem with the ports. The problem is we took out the credit card and spent way more than normal, and the ports just can't handle the volume.
So we're buying more stuff, is that what you're saying?
Right. Well, yeah, if you think about it, we borrowed $1 trillion from our kids, and we're buying all this stuff from China.
So what fixes the supply chain? Is that something that just works itself out?
Unfortunately, that's what we have to wait for. And the more the government tries to fix it, the more they'll mess it up. Mm-hmm. That's just the history.
So thanks for tuning in the video blog today. Remember, we'll have part 2 of this 2-part series out to you within a week or two. Thanks, and make it a great day.